Hello, everyone. Brandon Burbank here, and I am excited because I have this wonderful opportunity of doing a book review with Steve Williams. Steve, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm just turned 55 and married. I got 4 kids, and I born and raised in Long Beach, California, but I live in Orange County, which is basically the same place. And my passions are love my work. I love what I do. I'm a financial planner, so what I do here is I do a lot of tax returns. So we do lots and lots of tax returns here, but I also manage clients' investments. So whether it's stocks or bonds or 401ks, we manage their portfolios. So we have different like income streams here as an office, but pretty much anything to do with finances we have, I'm interested in, and love what I do. And after many years, clients end up being your friends, and there's something interesting when you're dealing with people's money. If they're willing to share that part of themselves with you, they'll tell you anything. So we become friends like that because again they're so open with me. So um, yeah, like I said, married, 4 kids. Passions are surfing and soccer, and that's how I met you, playing soccer. And
Yeah, and
I'm
then
going to play as much as I can, but not as much as I can because I don't have the young body like you.
Steve, you got a chance to read the book, Come Back to Success. What are your overall thoughts and opinions about the book?
Yeah, so it's very self-revealing. So I what I would say is you didn't seem to hold anything back, which is good. I think.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people say.
Right. I
That's
think
what
a
it
lot
was.
of people, even the first time I met you, well, maybe not the first time. One of the first few times you kind of shared as a group, that you were a public speaker and
Professionals.
professional speaker, and the things that you had part of your past that you have dealt with, and
Overcoming the mental
yeah,
health condition bipolar disorder.
right, and how you've become a professional speaker through that. Um,
Yeah, so on that note, coming back recently from Nashville, Tennessee, where I was a youth leader and also basically in the general session, learning a lot about mental health speakers, collaborating with other people, and just learning a lot about how to grow my business, Come Back to Success. So, just really excited to be here with Steve. Steve, what is the biggest chapter that you felt that you took away from that a lot of other readers could relate to?
so, that other readers could relate to. Well, I'm not. I'll answer it maybe not in a different way. The chapter that spoke to me the most, that I learned the most, I think was chapter 4, which just talked about the different
The writing on the walls.
institutions and hospitals and different settings, halfway houses that you experience that I didn't know. I think we all, if you haven't dealt with mental illness, you may know about these things on the peripheral, but you haven't spent time there, so you may not know how they work, and just how I hope they've gotten better over the hundreds of years that these places have been around, whether it's institutions or asylums or whatever you want to call them. It's better, but I thank God that I haven't had to go through that. But I know we'll get into it later, but there are. I think we all have probably some mental illness in our circle, whether it's family or friends that we deal with. I think as a society now, we see homelessness, and a lot of that I think is mental illness. And
So, Steve, why does mental health matter to you?
um, so I guess I would say this: there's a stigma oftentimes today. If I see that you're missing your legs or an arm, oh gosh, man, I feel really sorry for you. I can see that there's something wrong with you. As a society, if somebody thinks maybe there's something mentally wrong, it's so easy for us just out of hand to say, oh, come on, snap out of it. Well, that's not how it works. So we don't know who always is struggling or has these issues. And gosh, we could do so much greater good if we had a better understanding and empathy for people that had it, and if we could help heal or help people overcome. Oh boy, there's so many ills in society. I think that we could overcome and do better with if we could find solutions, and I don't know what the solutions are. Sometimes maybe it's medication, sometimes it's therapy, maybe it's a combination of lots of different things. But
and as an author, after reading this book, what are some of the ways that my book can serve as value for those that are needing mental health support or just dealing with mental health struggles even?
Well, I think there was not just once, not just twice, not just 3 times, but multiple times you say in here that you have to come to terms and accept.
Yeah, the term is called radical acceptance.
Okay, and I think that's probably got to be one of the hardest things for anybody to be just throw themselves out there. Hey, okay, this is what it is. Now I have to deal with it. I think our normal reaction is to say, no, that's not what I have, or I can fix this on my own. But at the end of the day, it seems like what you have said multiple times in here, once you can radically come up, accept it, then you can start looking for solutions.
So I know, Steve, you haven't, unfortunately at this point, you haven't been able to attend one of my speaking engagements yet. However, if you were to say some words of ideas or suggestions for my future clients, whether it be speakers, organizations, businesses, or the readers, what would you say that my book, as well as my business and my persona, adds value?
Well, definitely if somebody is struggling, or I don't know, to use a baseball analogy, if they're in their first or second inning of...
So what I mean by that is how does my business differ and separate itself from the competitors out there that are talking about mental health or just wanting encouragement? How am I more authentic, and why would people want to work with me versus another person?
Yeah, well, I guess I would say because it's you. You're the one. You're the autobiographer. You're the one who has gone through it and has overcome these hurdles, where I would assume there's lots of other people out there trying to give advice that haven't walked the walk or gone through the same experience. Maybe they're coming from a perspective of a doctor or a therapist and telling you, here's all the things you need to do. Well, if they haven't gone through it, you're more authentic. You've done it. You walk the walk and talk the talk, and it's going to, again, for the average person who needs this help, you've been there and done that. Whereas, I'm assuming a lot of the others, they haven't. They're coming with a completely different perspective, and maybe there's a place for both of you, in a situation like that. But
Okay.
if I had somebody that I knew was struggling, I would definitely want to turn them on to you, because you've got the best advice, I think.
Yeah, thank you. And then I just gotta double check, make sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we're still good.
Okay.
My last question regarding just drawing from your story, what is some pieces of advice that you could add if we're sharing any input to the viewers about how your story reflects, your own comeback to success?
My own personal story?
Yes.
Yeah, so I was sharing with you what I shared earlier. Is that what you mean?
Just in general,
Okay.
If you have any type of perspective where you've made a comeback to success, whether it be anywhere related to mental health in your life.
Okay, well, I guess my own personal struggles earlier in life, over 30 years ago. My personal struggles were with drugs and alcohol, and
How did that impact your mental health?
I was a different person. I was a thief. I was a backstabber. I was cruel. I was all these different. It was a different Steve.
What about behavioral wise?
Yeah, well, those are negative behaviors. You know, you're my friend, Brandon, but when you have your back turned, I'll steal from you. That's the type of person that I was before.
What was the stemmed impact that led you to make poor decisions?
That's a great question. I don't know, because there was, in my familial history, there was nobody that was an alcoholic or a drug addict, and you know, in AA, that, you know, we say that it's a disease and it comes from some, you know, it has to come from somewhere. Well, wasn't necessarily passed on to me from a different generation, but it has to start somewhere. So it started with me and my family. So, you know, I have a lot of wreckage in my past, but again, it's
So you made a comeback to success.
Correct. So, it's as I was saying, it's a chapter in my own personal book that I don't ever want to forget. I don't want to relive it, and I want to use that to move on to do bigger and better things for sure.
Very
For
good. Well, Steve, on that kind of as we wrap up this interview, is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I would just encourage people, as you know, if they're struggling and not ready to accept. I think that's where this book really, I hope, knocks down doors. And it seems like you can't get to that next stage in life until you, would you call it radical
acceptance?
Until you are willing to do that. And the same thing happens in the drug and alcohol world.
Addiction.
Until you hit your bottom and you are willing to accept that you're an alcoholic or a drug addict or whatever, you haven't really hit you can't go anywhere until you do that. You can't go further. And so that's where, you know, the first third of your book, you know, you really drive that point home that you did that, and I'm proud of you for it. But I would encourage anybody to pick it up and take it home, and it's a very good read.
Very cool. Thank you so much, Steve, for
Yeah.
this wonderful interview. And thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in on Brandon Burbank's YouTube channel. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment or reach out to me down below. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and stay blessed. Take care, guys.